there was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump,
I don't know if she's telling the truth or not, but if she
Jeffrey
is,
Epstein's mansion, we were.
Tell you what,
there was an orgy going on, and he was kind of watching off in the distance, and he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job. And at first I wasn't very comfortable with it. This was like my first or second, first party, and I didn't think that was my responsibility. But my recruiter told me that I needed to do it, so I agreed to.
Now notice the language. He said my recruiter. Further evidence, further reason to believe this was basically a human trafficking organization, right?
Sorry guys, I am
your recruiter.
Dropping my support for Trump. I'm not saying I don't believe this girl. I'm saying there's not enough there for me to believe her.
Then he...
It's a pretty big accusation.
Began to... Sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, you need to use a glove. And the recruiter ran over and handed me a glove and said, no one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove. So
I don't find that hard to believe.
Gave him a hand job, and then immediately after, he had an orgasm, he left, and I didn't see him again at that party. Jeffrey Epstein.
So you come in for a hand job and leave?
Friend of Donald Trump's. That
I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying, like I said, there's not enough there for me to believe either.
I originally came to New York trying to be a model, and in my travels, I met a girl named Tiffany there, who was very interested in me and said that that's what she did, is that she helped girls get what they wanted, and she could help me get into modeling.
So remember, what she's saying here is, if this also checks out, is that they're young models, teenage models. As I've been telling you for a long time, there's plenty of reason to believe that, Miss Teen USA and all these teenage modeling agencies. Trump had one, by the way. Friends with Jean-Luc Brunel and John Casablancas, notorious pedophiles. It was all a front for child sex trafficking.
She knew a lot of people that were higher ups, and that it would be no problem. And so that's why, but I would just basically have to come model at a couple of events and meet some people. There'd be no sweat. So, of course I went. That sounded like no big deal. And she was recruiting the girls to come to these parties. And they all looked, most of them were, my age. There was, maybe a couple girls that were maybe 14 or 15, but it
sounds kind of like all the other testimony,
young,
though.
So all underage. All of these girls underage at these sex parties. They literally can't consent. That legally they can't consent. Okay.
Jeffrey Epstein knew that I was 13 years old when...
Why do you want someone that young? It's disgusting. Why would you not want a full developed woman in their mid-20s or something,
It was something about my figure.
It's disgusting.
And he asked that I give him a massage. And then he asked me my age. He asked me, and I told him,
it's hard to listen
to. I was 13. I told him why I was there. And he basically said, well, you'll do. I'm sure that you'll fit pretty nicely here. And then he tried to basically slip himself inside of me. And I pushed him away, and I said, I'm... Because at that point in time, I still believed that there was models, and then there was the girls that did that. Like, I thought there was a separation. So, I told him that I wasn't interested in that, but he said that I would do. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him. He seemed to take a liking to me because I was so young.
I'm not saying she's telling the truth. I'm just saying if she is.
I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't really into having girls that were,
I'm saying there's enough
liked by the other guys
that we do need
to
investigate further. We do need to find the truth.
But he was the one who wanted to get to a girl before everyone else did. Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that, she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair. And so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well.
Oh my God, bro. So according to her, Donald Trump chose her at the age of 13 because she reminded him of his daughter.